Hello, I am Bully,
And I'm Andy Morose.
and together we are Table Goth, and today we will be doing a video explaining disciplines. Disciplines a lot of times require dice rolls, and it's only appropriate if you're going to use your disciplines and you're going to roll your dice to use our level up dice link and get your vampire dice there. It helps us, and we need help. Other ways to support us: you could buy our Vampire Player's Guide, which is really cool and has way more disciplines. If you need more options, keep things a little flavorful. How else can they support us? That's it. Just do one of those things, and watch these. These are good too. Okay, on to the powers. Start things off, we're just going to explain what are disciplines. Discipline is pretty much a fancy word for vampire powers. These vampire powers you get fall under specific categories. These categories you get fall under specific clans. All vampires have some shared powers, like you can heal your wounds, or you can feed your blood to people to bond them to you, or to turn a mortal into a ghoul. Disciplines are more specific powers.
All of the powers are specific to your disciplines. And the source of these powers are your blood. And that's why most require you to make a rouse check before you use them.
Mechanically, they work similar to skill trees. So you kind of pick your category, and you pick what you want to put your experience points into, and then you unlock stronger powers as you do so. We will get into the specific discipline categories, or skill trees, however you want to look at it, in other videos, but for our purpose here, they are as follows: animalism, auspex, celerity, dominate, fortitude, obfuscate, potence, presence, protean, blood sorcery, and oblivion, which was added a little bit later. So that's the one that won't be in the core book, but will be in Chicago by Night, Cults of the Blood Gods, as well as other places.
The fun part is that the whole game is pretty fun, but specifically to this, many of the disciplines are classic vampire abilities popular in various media, such as hypnotizing victims, commanding bats. Haven't got to do that one yet, but I'm very excited to try someday. Having supernatural physical abilities, and these are often tied to the various clans that roughly represent those archetypes.
Next, we'll get into learning disciplines. At character creation, using the standard way, you will start with some dots or ranks in discipline powers. And they work like any other trait, where each discipline category goes from rank 1 to rank 5. These could be purchased with experience points, but to learn them, according to the rules, you also must feed on someone that has the resonance in their blood, the emotion or the humor, or however you want to look at that, connected with that specific discipline category.
Okay, so there's a chart on page 227 that gives you the 4 resonances, and then in addition to that, lists animal blood. And all 5 of those relate to or correlate to 2 different disciplines. Oblivion is attached to blood empty of resonance. In the book, it mentions that you might get that blood source from psychopaths, emotionally detached, or maybe even blood from a corpse or bag blood.
To learn a discipline that's not attached to your clan or your starting disciplines, the book states that you'll need to taste the blood of someone who possesses that discipline. So you'll need to feed from another kindred or vampire who knows the power that you're trying to learn. There is one way around this, which is you get a dot in a discipline from your predator type. So if you start with a predator type that has an out-of-clan discipline, then you don't have to drink someone's blood to learn it. Otherwise, if you don't start with it, you got to feed from someone who does, or who has it. Basically what this means is rules as written. The storyteller should incorporate some sort of role play, involve hunting the specific resonance attached to a power, or hunting a vampire who has that power that you're looking to spend experience points in.
When you diablerize a kindred, you get XP that you can immediately use to learn the discipline known by the victim or increase your blood potency. This means discipline types, not specific powers. And it's pretty, like, killing kindred is pretty risky for a myriad of reasons, so that's a pretty sweet, like, payoff.
Yeah, have we done Diablerie?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, a video on it?
Oh, no.
Yeah, yes, we have done Diablerie. Yeah, we'll get into a video that really dives into all the risks and rewards of Diablerie, but it's a great way to learn disciplines. Let me just leave it at that. Next, we will get into selecting powers, or picking your disciplines. So every time your character gains a dot in a discipline, you choose one power associated with that discipline, either at the current level of dots or below. So for most disciplines, you're going to have an equal number of dots or ranks in that discipline and an equal number of powers in that discipline. An example of this would be if you have a third dot in a discipline. We'll use animalism. You have a third dot in animalism. You can take a level, when you receive that third dot, you can take a level 1 power, a level 2 power, or a level 3 power. So a kindred you can have 3 level 1 powers in one discipline with 3 dots in it. Or you can skip a level 2 power altogether and have like 2 level 1s and then 1 level 3. As long as it's lower than your dots, you're good to go. You can take them in any order that way.
And some disciplines have prerequisites, but unless stated, you can take the powers in any order appropriate for your dots.
And then we have amalgam powers, which are a little more complicated. These are sort of the exception to the rules when it comes to selecting your powers. Amalgams are combinations of 2 disciplines. The specific powers are counted as belonging to both, despite what list they fall under. Typically, these are designed to sort of highlight certain discipline combinations found that are unique to certain clans. For example, Malkavians have the in-clan disciplines for demontation.
They have prerequisites of other discipline dots required to take certain powers. For example, Unliving Hive is under Animalism level 3 and requires Obfuscate level 2. It doesn't matter which Obfuscate power you have as long as you have 2 dots, which I think can be kind of confusing if you're just like a casual reader just to see power like 2. But you must have this before taking level 3 Animalism power.
Finally, we have using your powers. So discipline power can be activated at any time, unless of course otherwise stated, and there's no limit on how many powers can be active at one time in a character.
However, you can only activate 1 power per turn, and blood potency level adds dice to discipline powers or resisting disciplines.
Which I should harp on, actually, because I'll admit, I didn't know that until this time. And I've never seen or been in a game that knew... So everyone knows, well, I should say everyone, a lot of people understand that your blood potency gives you bonus dice using your discipline. Mm-hmm. I don't think I've ever either remembered or seen someone use it that also helps with resisting. So if you have like a blood potency that gives you blood potency 4, you have 2 dot discipline bonus. That means if someone uses dominate on you, you get an extra 2 dice to resist it just because of your blood potency. Which maybe this is obvious to everyone, but I haven't seen it in my illustrious streaming career. So I just want to point that out and highlight it. Another cool thing and another good reason to have high blood potency, I guess. It's looking better and better.
Yeah, I think I've never really put a whole lot of weight into blood potency. Not because I didn't think it was like, oh, that's so important, whatever. But you're so busy like trying to get all those other like level ups in your powers.
You want your fun powers, yeah.
But you can have like fairly basic powers that are pretty strong,
yeah,
and help you on defense as well, which is kind of cool.
Yeah, something again. Maybe everyone's known this, and I somehow am the dummy, but I will edit this out if that's the case. Otherwise, yeah, remember blood potency. Your discipline power bonus applies to using disciplines and resisting disciplines. The specific powers then give you your rules on like the duration, how long the power lasts. The rouse check cost, if any, and the dice pools you'll use. Those are all specific to the powers. Yeah, and that is the basics overall of what disciplines are, which are your vampire powers. But of course, it sounds cooler to say discipline. We'll get into the specifics. I think we're going to do a video on every one of these categories, probably breaking down the specific powers. talking about some of our favorites. And maybe I'll do one covering some stuff in our book too.
That'd be fun.
But yeah, this is sort of the what a lot of people think about when they think about this game specifically. At least character creation. A lot of people base it on what powers you get. A lot of people pick their clan based on what powers that clan gets, because it is cheaper experience points wise to have use in clan discipline powers. Though a cool thing is, any vampire can have any of these powers as long as they eat the right person or vampire.
Yeah, they don't have to be in network for you to get those. Sorry.
Any other final thoughts on disciplines? Do you want to give a preview on what's a favorite that comes to mind for you? All right, never mind. We will learn as we go.
Completely blank slate, just completely wiped clean.
Which is one of my favorite powers, which is a cloud memory or the forgetful mind, where you get to rearrange memories. Thanks for setting me up for that. Yeah, on purpose. Yeah, that's it. Like I said, these are fun. These are very different. If you're one of these people watching these videos to compare editions, the disciplines are one of the major differences between 5th edition and the old editions. They've combined some powers. They've taken away a lot of powers and sort of streamlined some things. They've taken powers like in the old editions that used to be like your celerity and your fortitude and your potence just meant more dots and stuff. In this, it also can mean more dots in like your speed and strength and health, but also there's specific powers attached to each dot, which I think is cool. And that is it for the discipline basics. We'll get into the specifics in other videos, so keep an eye out for those. Otherwise, there's all of our knowledge. You have it now. You're welcome. Goodbye. I don't know what to tell you to do.
Well, sometimes I'm just like thinking and I happen to blank think at the camera. My eyes get really big sometimes. Your table got, and I'm my name, and you're your name.
No, I switched it.
I thought of the discipline I like the most. Majesty. Fucking bomb.